Hey everyone, welcome back to another Meet Kevin show. Today we are talking to tech and lifestyle YouTuber Shelby Church. I'm super excited because Shelby's gotten herself into some real estate projects. And y'all know I love real estate, but there are also parts of real estate I really don't like. And Shelby, I want to bring you on. I want to talk about real estate. You own Tesla. You gotten yourself into some Bitcoin. Let's hear about the differences. I want to hear about the YouTuber lifestyle.
Hey, it's lagging a little bit, but
oh no. So
now I think we're good.
Yeah, welcome. Perfect. You're good.
Thanks.
Welcome on in.
Excited to
so
chat.
Tell me, introduce yourself to everyone.
Okay, I'm a YouTuber mostly. That's like my main thing. I've done YouTube for over 10 years now. Started with like beauty lifestyle videos. Oh, is it lagging or is it good?
You're good. You're good.
Okay, great. So yeah, I started with like lifestyle videos. I mean, I started making videos originally when I was like 14. And now just as I've gotten older, just become more interested in tech, trying tech products, Tesla, stocks, investing, real estate, all the stuff that it's like as you get older, you're interested in anyway, but I just document it all.
Wow. So, I mean, there was the whole lifestyle segment of YouTube has gotten huge. I mean, from beauty gurus to clothing to, and then of course, then tech and finance. What made you go, into different spaces? Like, what got you from starting with beauty going into now real estate? Like, how does that transition work? Is it just kind of what you're excited about?
Yeah, I think it's what I'm excited about. And also just kind of watching the YouTube algorithm. There was a time 4 or 5 years ago where I felt like I was just like stagnant doing the beauty style videos. And I also just felt like this isn't really me anymore. Some of them felt just like, I don't know, like if you look at a lot of lifestyle channels back then, it felt like videos for like high school students. We're all like in our 20s. So I was like, I'm just getting bored of it. And like, it was kind of scary to switch to a different niche, I guess, but it's definitely worked out better than ever. And I enjoy it more for sure.
There are a lot of YouTubers that'll start a totally different channel. You know, they'll and I think you have two. You have your vlog and then your main. But then you will actually see a lot of YouTubers. They'll go, okay, well, I'll do the real estate channel. I'll do the beauty channel. I'll do a tech channel. Have you ever been tempted to just like totally divide out like that?
I've been tempted because now I feel like I've been watching stock related videos and I just enjoy talking about it. And I also feel like I talk about it on my vlog channel and people are way more into it than I thought, but I'm hesitant to make a whole channel because I'm not an expert, like no formal education on it or anything. It's just sort of like what I'm doing with like for fun money, you know? So I don't know, I've thought about doing that, but I do like keeping it most of my videos on my main channel because I put so much time into each one. I feel like I would never upload if I had so many different ones. Like for my vlog channel, it works because I put, and I'll admit it, like very little effort into editing them. I'll just kind of throw it together in like an hour because it's just not sustainable to put so much work into 2 channels, really. Like you've got to divide it somehow.
I mean, do you regret making a second channel, or are you happy you have it because it's like an outlet? How do you view that?
Yeah, I'm happy I have it because it's just like there's no pressure and I can post whatever. I feel like for my main channel, I want every video to be really polished and edited well. And I think if I uploaded vlogs to that channel, the people who aren't really interested in the vlogs would maybe start unsubscribing. I don't know. I feel like it's better to keep them separate, but who really knows? I see people who do it either way. So I think it can work really either way.
Yeah.
And I also think it's like I probably won't vlog forever. I stopped for years and then I really only started again like during the pandemic because I was just getting bored. And then like this surgery that I had that I know people are like interested in and the house renovation. And then I'm like, will I after that? I don't know. We'll see.
Yeah, so that's interesting because I mean, in some sense, with a lifestyle focused channel, you've kind of always got to be evolving your lifestyle in some way. Like something's got to be happening, right?
That's true. Yeah, I think if you're vlogging and you're like, I guess this is why I'd be hesitant to like only be a vlogger because if you're not like having an interesting life, are people going to watch? But I feel like with my main channel, I think of myself more as just like a video producer. Like I'll go interview people and make like documentary style videos. So I'm like, I could stop vlogging and I could have a boring life and it wouldn't really matter. Like I could just edit all day. But yeah, if you're vlogging and showing your life, yeah, you've got to be like renovating a house or doing something interesting, or else it's just like really the same every day.
Have you know, your videos, the documentary style ones that you do, they're so well done. How many hours are you putting into these? I mean, you got to be putting just days. I think I even heard you say in an interview or something somewhere that like you'll shoot your B-roll, then you'll go edit, and then in your editing you're like, oh, I need to go back and get some more B-roll. And I'm like losing my mind. I'm like, what?
Yeah.
Oh man, that is dedication.
Yeah, thanks. Yeah, usually that is what I do for pretty much every video. So it'll take like 3 to 5 days, I feel like, per video, including editing. But some videos not as much. Like I just shot a house tour of this A-frame cabin and I interviewed the owner because she owns this Airbnb, like how much money it makes and all of that. And so that was really only like a day of shooting, and I'll be able to edit that in like 3 or 4 hours. But then some I just get like way more into, and I'll spend like a couple weeks on. Or rarely is it that long, but yeah.
I mean, this is your primary source of income, right?
Yeah.
Have you considered like somehow making it so that you could do more of these, like whether that was getting an editor involved or doing less editing?
I have thought about it, but it's hard to find an editor with the same style. But I think I actually, once I'm done renovating the house, I really do want to find someone to work with me, like to help shoot and edit and get more videos out. Or sometimes I feel like I don't really need to get more out, but just help me make them better in a way. Because I think if they're really high quality, they'll get more views. So in a way, if I'm not uploading as much, like it's worth it if the video might get 1 million views. So
I see what you're
yeah.
saying. Yeah, because I mean, you get some bangers on your channel. I mean, I'm just gonna pull up your channel right here. You've got 1.6 million subs right now, which is awesome. I'm gonna go to just my most popular here. So you've got 9.2 million views now on your most viewed. That is cool, like amazing.
Yeah,
I want to share this.
that one's
That is
crazy.
so cool. So let's see here. You've got 9.2 right here on how much you got paid on YouTube, which I've thrown a video together like that, and it's like 200K views. You get 9.2. That's amazing.
Yeah, I don't know
I
why
mean,
that one got so many, because I see a lot of people doing that video.
I have to give you credit here. Like, I have, I think, like one video that has over 1 million views, maybe a couple that are like knocking on the door. But I mean, look, like I saw this boat video when you posted it, 1.8 million views, 1.9, 2.4, 2.5. I mean, these are such good views on these videos. What's that translating to on sort of a monthly view basis?
I feel like lately it's been between 1 and 2 million views per month, around there, because I'll still upload regularly. I feel like on average I'll get between 100 and 200,000 views. So a lot of times it's, if I only upload probably 4 or 5 times a month, probably four. So that's like 4 or 500,000, sometimes more if they hit like 2 or 300,000 views. So a lot of those old videos just still get a lot of views. Like the one I did about Amazon, every month it still makes me like $1 or $2,000 just keeping it up, which is so crazy because it has a really, really high RPM, like the highest of any video. Because it's
And if
about
people are
Amazon
becoming
FBA.
millionaires from Amazon, oh, this was what you interviewed Kevin David.
Yeah, and I think like that Amazon, I mean, I haven't done any other videos about that whole thing, but it's just crazy how much the like RPM will be if you do. Or I think honestly, if you put millionaire in the title of a video, it's like double.
Wow. Wow. So,
It's crazy.
and I mean, how is, gosh, I mean, the quality is so good. I mean, the amount of effort you put into the editing is so amazing. I mean, does it, I guess just the easiest way to put it is like, what do you think when you, because you've mentioned you watched at least some of my videos, you've seen some of them. How am I trying to say this? I don't put in the effort that you do into the editing. And
Mhm.
in aggregate, like individually, my videos have less views, but together they have more. Like, have you ever thought about maybe just a little less editing and just up the content amount?
I have thought about that, and I've thought about this a lot. I think it works really well for your channel specifically because people who are watching these stock videos, like it's almost annoying if there's editing, right? It's like you're really just watching for the knowledge and not for the like entertainment editing as much. And so it works super well. But for some of the videos that I've done, I'm like, I feel like if I was just talking, it would be a little boring. So it's like all about the topic. Like whenever I watch a video that's about stock market, if there is a lot of editing, I kind of get annoyed. So I don't know. I've thought about it too because it's like you can upload, like maybe I am putting in too much effort versus like that I need to, but I don't know. I kind of like it. Like I've always liked video production in general. So I sort of like
I think it's
making it.
awesome. Yeah, I mean, I think
Thanks.
it's just it's so good, and I watch them and I'm just like blown away with like, wow, yeah, I mean, because there was a long time ago. Well, I mean, long time ago is relative, but like 2016, 17, I'd make videos and I could spend just like multiple days on them. It's like, oh man, there's so much work that goes in. But I don't know how you like when I did that, you'd have like one that did really well. But then if you had like two in a row that didn't do well, and it's like 2 weeks went by, it was just like a knife to the stomach. You know, like I couldn't
Yeah.
handle it.
Yeah, it's not fun when you put so much effort into a video and it doesn't end up doing very well. But I always figure it's like there's always next week. Like it really just takes one video to pop off and do really well, and then all your other videos start getting a ton of views. I've had some where it's like I had one in particular actually I was so excited about. I filmed this founder of a company and it was very different for my channel. And I put so much effort in, like drove to San Francisco and filmed for like 3 days. And then
Whoa.
the video got like 10,000 views. And I was just like,
Oh,
okay, cool. But then months later, it started getting more and more. And this is before I knew that different CPMs, it depended on the topic.
hmm.
So I was just making it because I was interested in it, and it ended up having a way higher CPM, RPM, whatever.
Yeah.
And it started getting views, but it just took so long to get there. Now I think it's at like probably like 500,000 or more.
It's
So I
incredible.
don't know. I don't let it. I try to just be like, it's okay. It could always get more, but if not, like there's always next week, whatever. Because it's almost no point in getting upset about it, but sometimes you can't help it. If you like think it's really gonna do well, and then just
That's a good
YouTube's
point.
like, no.
Yeah, yeah, and you know that's another thing too, and just for anybody watching, CPM, RPM, just revenue per million, essentially, or per thousand is the way it's calculated, per mil, I guess, millennia, I
Mhm.
don't know, but anyway, uh, what's interesting about what you said there is a lot of your content, it's still relevant 6 months later, so you could see that, like nobody's gonna go back and look at what the stock market just did from 6 months ago,
True.
you know.
True. Yeah, it's like it's the stock videos, it's like you have like a day or two, and then people are like, next one. But those
God,
ones do
yeah.
end up getting, that's why that Amazon one I still make money from. And now I'm looking at repurposing all my videos for Facebook because I guess they have a good monetization sort of thing now, from what I've heard. And I have all these videos that are like, it doesn't really matter when I upload them. So I'm going to give
May
that a
as well put them
shot.
over there too.
Yeah.
Do you think that switching or like expanding to other platforms could distract you? Sometimes I get nervous, like if I spend too much time trying to make like reels for IG or TikTok or whatever, maybe I'll get
Yeah.
distracted, and I could just make another YouTube video.
I know. I think it can, but there's like 3 companies I know of that will handle it all for you, but they have different business models. So I'm kind of just like figuring out which to go with from there. But that way I won't be spending the time myself like cutting the videos again because I think that would, like, I've done it for a few videos now and I'm like, okay, I spent like an hour and a half doing that. I could have been working on a new video,
Right.
so I think it's worth it to like hire it out, I guess.
That makes it. Yeah, but then it's also hard. Like anytime, like you said, you hire somebody. It's like, well, what if they clip? I wanted that section, not that section. It's like, yeah.
That is hard. I know. I feel like I
I get
can't do
that.
it through my main channel, but for Facebook, I'm
It's
kind of like whatever.
good point. Good point. So, you just recently posted about your extreme backyard makeover. Before and after an $80,000 renovation. Was this $80,000 just in a backyard?
Yes, unfortunately,
Oh my
much
God.
more than I anticipated.
Well,
Way
so
more.
tell me about this. What is the point of this project? Is it a vacation rental? Is it a regular rental? And you bought it as a fixer? Tell me a little bit about it, and I'll try to pull up some pictures of it here in the meantime.
Okay, cool. So it's a vacation rental. So my sister and I bought it together. She also does YouTube and all of that. Oh yeah, there it is. So we bought it in November. We had been looking at Palm Springs to buy a vacation rental even before COVID and everything. We thought it was like kind of undervalued for how much you could charge per night. But then as COVID hit, it like got way more expensive over there. So when we were first looking, we saw these houses that were perfect and turnkey, like ready for Airbnb for 725,000. But we didn't have like our taxes and everything in order quite yet, like to buy it back in March. So by the time we did, everything had gone up. So we were able to get something for 750, but it needed work. So like mentally, that was hard to adjust to. And I
Yeah.
figured it would need some work, like redoing the kitchen and some of the backyard, but it just turned out to be a lot more. Like I just didn't know what it entailed to fix certain things, like the electrical around a pool and the concrete. That was, I don't know, like I figured we could probably just paint it. I didn't think it was going to be redoing the concrete completely. But that ended up, that pit, we had to get that taken out because it's like not up to code for Airbnb. So it just, yeah, the whole thing ended up being a lot more.
So
But wait, yeah, what were you going to say?
oh my gosh, yeah, the new pool equipment. Jeez, yeah, it adds up fast. So who was kind of walking you through, advising you on this project? Was it an agent, somebody local? Tell me about that.
My real estate agent out in Palm Springs had renovated like 2 houses there before. So he gave us a lot of advice and different contractors he liked to use. But
Mhm.
for the most part, we were kind of figuring it out ourselves. And my dad has come down from Seattle a bunch of times to help because he, like, back when he was in college, did some kind of contracting work. So he's kind of familiar with it. But yeah, we're kind of just figuring it out as we go. So
And so
it's
the
been interesting.
plan is for you to Airbnb this. How profitable do you expect this is going to be?
Well, I think now that we spent so much more than we expected, it's like when you include the down payment and the money we put in,
Mhm.
probably not as much, but I guess I'm trying to think because some of
What is
the
rent
money we
for?
put in adds to the value of the house anyway. So I'm like,
Of
I don't
course.
like fully regret it or anything, but some
Yeah,
of the things
let's
probably
wait.
not. We just wanted them.
You paid 750 for it?
Yeah.
Okay. So you paid 750. And what's the size of it? So was it like a 3 and 2?
Yeah.
Okay.
And
And
so
what are those going for now in that area? Like what, 1,400 square feet, around that square footage? What are those things selling for now?
they're selling for like a one that's fixed up pretty nice, like 900 to a million
Okay. Okay.
that
Nice.
I've
Yeah. I mean, and,
seen.
and you spent 80 in the backyard. How much are you going to spend total?
I think like 150. Hopefully that is it. Yeah.
It's going to be a beautiful Airbnb. Well, the good news is, I mean,
Yeah.
if you're within that range, I mean, 750 plus 150, you're at 9. So you definitely got something that's going to be remodeled and done, and you're just not going to have to worry about it, right? So you've got some really big pluses there. I guess what I
Mhm.
want to distill is when you went into it, uh, who kind of freaked you out about not that you did freak out, I'm just wondering about the initial code things. Was it a contractor? Was it a home inspector? Like who said, hey, you've got to replace all this stuff?
There was, the home inspector did say like certain things like the electrical panel needed to be upgraded because it was a really old house.
Okay.
And then we had a friend come by who looked at the pool, who works in like that pool business. So he wasn't really like trying to sell anything really, because we
Yeah.
didn't even end up like going or like working with him. I think he was just like doing a favor of just being like, yeah, you probably have to move this. And
Well, I don't
yeah,
understand
so
that. So you all the pumps and everything were in a spot, and so people were telling you you had to move the pool pumps and stuff. I mean, I get a home inspector going, "Hey, you got an old panel from the 50s, you got to replace it."
yeah.
But what they made you move all the pumps? I mean, that's a disaster. The
Okay,
gas line, the
I know.
electrical, you're trenching, like, oh,
So it was basically down in this pit and the concrete
yeah,
was cracking above it. And I guess back in like the 50s and 60s in Palm Springs, all these houses would put the pool equipment down in a pit. And now it's considered unsafe because if someone fell in it or whatever. I mean, at first I thought it was kind of nice because you don't hear the pool equipment anymore.
yeah.
But then as we've gone to different houses, no one has it anymore. It's like they all have moved away from that because I guess it's just considered a liability. So I was just like, yeah, I don't want to deal with that if someone were to fall in there. And also, the pool didn't have a heater. And that is something that,
Oh,
from what I've heard from other like Airbnb rentals, you need that if people are going to
yeah.
rent.
Yeah.
And they said that you couldn't put that in the pit. I don't know if that's for sure the case, but
Yeah,
yeah.
I mean,
So,
okay, I certainly agree that if you're gonna have a pool home for an Airbnb, well, first of all, you got to have really good insurance because pools are a
mhm.
liability, right? I'm sure you've got that though. But yeah, adding heat, I think is great. When I hear, and just something, for your next one, when
Yeah.
I hear things are maybe not to modern day standards, usually I'm trying to think. The first thing I'm thinking is, well, how can I solve this problem with $100? And usually I add in increments of 100 rather than 1,000 because thousands go really fast.
Mhm.
uh, and so, one of my thinking or my thought process might have been, can I grate this thing, lock it, and now nobody's going in? You know what I mean? Did that
Yeah.
ever come up?
We did think about locking it, but then I guess with like, I don't know exactly how this stuff works fully, like the pool heaters and everything. But
Sure.
from what we had heard, then it was like unsafe to put the heater down in there. So I don't know if other
Okay.
houses just don't have a pool heater that do that. It seemed like the old owners of the house just like never really used the pool pretty much. So
Okay. Okay. And then it also looks like, so how much did the whole, like, the pool heaters and systems, that was what, like 11,500 was what the cost of that was?
yeah.
Okay, but hey, you've got new systems now, you've got a heater. That's not horrible because now you've got some new functioning equipment. The last thing you want to for an Airbnb is the stuff breaking down when people are there. Like, I don't want to deal with that
Yeah.
service call.
Totally.
Okay, so what else though? Because it looked like you took up all the concrete around too.
Mhm. Yeah, so we ended up taking that out. And some of this, so me and my sister are renovating it together. So at some point she was kind of like, let's do this. And maybe I was like, I don't know, do we need to? But the concrete, it was like cracked all over. It had these like tripping hazards. It was like 8 different shades of terracotta.
Oh
And in
God,
general,
yeah.
it was just like I don't know, it did seem pretty old. And I was talked to a lot of people about like, can we just paint it? And they pretty much said the paint will chip and get in the pool and it will never really be how you want it. So
Sure.
I was shocked though at how much it costs to, I mean, take out the concrete and then put in new concrete. So I don't know. In the future, I would almost rather just start with a yard that's full of dirt than like a yard that's kind of done because it just ended up being a lot and like taking things out.
Yeah, no kidding. And that's one of the painful things about real estate is just, it's not even just jackhammering it, but now you got to throw away all that concrete, right?
Yeah, they
Geez.
have to
Okay,
take
so
it
so then
somewhere, and it's like
exactly. Okay,
you're
so you,
getting
you I
charged
mean,
for that.
yeah, I have to say, it looks beautiful. Like, your finished product
Thanks.
is amazing. Like, the
Thank you.
lights,
Yeah.
the siding on the property, or the stucco that you have there, the new concrete, like, even the way you did the grass and everything. It's a beautiful looking Airbnb. It is interesting though. I always like seeing what contractors or vendors say as a reason for doing something. And tripping hazards, I've heard that. I have to say, I have not heard of somebody saying that the paint might chip off the concrete and clog your pool filter.
Yeah, so do you think, like, have you painted concrete before and like in a backyard and had that kind of work?
Yeah, I mean, it just becomes something that you just redo it every couple of years. You got to have a
Got it.
really good
Yeah.
concrete primer. You redo it every so often. Usually what we'll do is like we'll grind down some concrete if it's a trip hazard, and then you can concrete prime and paint. It's one of the issues is when you go Airbnb, I think oftentimes people are almost expecting like that LA vibe, right? Which is, I think, a step up from rental grade. Like, I think you can get away with certain things at like the Kevin rental grade, which is better. It's not like slumlord rental grade, right? Like I like my rental grade. It's good rental grade. But I would be inclined to do a little bit more on an Airbnb because I think there's almost that expectation and you're trying to establish reviews. So that's important. What else did you hear? Did you redo all the electrical in the house, or what happened there?
So we did a bunch of different stuff. We upgraded the electrical panel because it was old, and I mean the house didn't even have a dryer, and so that's something we needed because if like the cleaners are like washing sheets, they'd be there all day if they're like hanging to dry.
You have gas?
So yeah, so that's actually what we ended up putting in, and I got an electric vehicle charger installed just because like when I'm there, I kind of want it, and it would be a good like
wait a minute.
little Airbnb thing.
You were in your apartment somewhere running a burnt out extension cord with 120 volts to your Tesla, but on your Airbnb, for the odd time you're there, you're plugging in.
Because I at least own it, and I think you can get a credit for that still, like from and I guess it's not LADWP, but Southern California Edison out there.
I think both. You could for money you spend on energy related upgrades like that, I think you get your 30%. I'm not sure if it's still 30%. I think you get a federal tax credit on your taxes, and then probably your utility as well. Okay, so you got that. You did the new panel. Did they make you well, let's see. But you did a gas line for the dryer. So it almost kind of sounds like they're like, hey, you got an old panel. We got to get you a dryer. Let's upgrade your panel. But then the gas ended up going to the dryer ended up going to gas, but then they still stuck you with the panel. Was this a main contractor, like individual, like were you talking to an electrician or the general contractor?
The general contractor took care of the electrical, but it was more that it was like you would turn on a light switch in the kitchen and then it would trip something and the fridge would turn off. Like there was like a lot of weird electrical stuff where there just wasn't. So it was like when we've currently been working on the kitchen, and I thought at first I was like, I had watched some of your videos. I was like, can we just paint the cabinets? Like, I don't want to like redo them completely. But that was something my sister was like, no, I really want new ones. And I was like, all right, whatever. Even my dad was like, these are not good. Like they were super old, but I was like, Airbnb people won't really care, but we're redoing it. So whatever. So once I took that off the wall, what
something that happens in renovations, and it's totally normal, but something that happens in renovations is once you spend big on like one thing, it's like, okay, you write that first check and it's like, all right, let's move the pool equipment. Okay, let's do the concrete. Now all of a sudden, all of that looks so freaking nice that it's kind of like, how can you keep the kitchen cabinets now, and so that makes sense. That's a danger because the numbers go big fast, right? Like if you go, okay, we're going to leave the pool equipment, put the heater on top, we'll paint the concrete, we'll paint the cabinets, you're not going to get the same premium that you would for that Airbnb, but it helps sometimes stay on that same course of like, no, this is the theme we're going with. We're going with the budget version. You got the all-in version right here.
Yeah, we're definitely making it like nicer than I even thought. When we first, I don't know, I guess it's tricky because in Palm Springs, there are a lot of like really cool mid-century modern houses, and they update them in a way where it's like, it's nice and the backyards are really nice and they can charge like $500 to $600 per night because they are really nice and you get a pool in the whole house. And compared to a hotel, it's like that's so much more space.
Yeah.
And they do really well out there. And then like you also have festival season. So like Coachella, you can rent it out for like triple that, and
Oh my
Stagecoach
gosh.
and all those. Yeah, I've heard of people paying their entire mortgage for the year just from the month of April. So that was another thing where I was like, okay, Palm Springs, like rather
Wow.
than, yeah.
Well,
But they
that's
do
the thing.
have some like restrictions out there for Airbnb, but there are kind of ways that you can work with it.
That's one of the things I've noticed is, certain areas you could still be so profitable by doing the vacation rentals that you may as well like it's like this is not a normal Airbnb anymore. This is like a vacation destination Airbnb where you are taking advantage of that whole 1950s vibe, and people are like, I will pay extra just to have something that's new, but it's kind of like a new old house where it still has that 50s vibe to it. And you can't
Yeah.
get that just painting over the old concrete. You're not going to get that vibe. So I think for vibe purposes and what you're going for, I think you nailed it. And
Thanks.
it's normal. It just comes with the territory, and what you're trying to accomplish is what you're doing here. Okay, so what about how has COVID affected that market? And do you think it will have any effect as we reopen up again?
Yeah, I've watched the whole thing because I've been like keeping an eye on the Palm Springs area since before COVID. And it seems like at first people were kind of desperate to sell. Like last March, we toured some places and people were like, I want to get rid of this house. Like, I don't want this overhead, whatever.
Yeah.
And they also had some kind of restriction you couldn't rent at all for a couple weeks, and then you could only rent to healthcare workers. But then after that, everyone wanted to go there. Like everyone wanted to get out of LA or San Francisco. So people
Yeah.
are buying places there. Like my real estate agent told me he had like so many, like it's usually older people maybe buying there, but he had like significantly more people in their 30s ish buying and like actually moving there because they just wanted more space or they wanted to rent it out like we are. Um, and so I guess I've seen the Airbnbs because I would just want to go out there just to visit, and they were like double the price that they normally were. And people are even renting in the summer, which is in the summer usually is like the off season because it gets so hot there. But even
Hmm.
then, people were charging like a premium when normally they'd be like discounted a little bit.
Yeah, so you bought this for 750, so you probably 20% down, something to that effect. So you've got maybe a loan of like 510 or something, 518, somewhere around there.
Yeah, the max loan is 510, so we ended up, yeah, we did
There you
510.
go. 510.
Mhm.
So okay, and I mean, you just closed on this a few months ago. So I think you probably nailed the bottom of the market on interest rates. What'd you get?
I'd have to double check. I think it was like 2.8.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, it
That's
was
amazing.
definitely, yeah. Because me and
And
my
you got
sister
it.
bought it, and we also have a townhouse in Seattle that she lives in, and then we rent out a couple rooms. So it was like we
Brilliant.
have credit. Like we definitely like it was our second home purchase, so it was easier, I
Oh,
guess, in that way.
perfect. Oh yeah, that's all. Okay, so you've got, I mean, such a great rate. You can't even get it anymore right now unless you want to pay a lot of money in fees. So
Hmm.
you nailed it on that. And so you're gonna Airbnb it out. What's your total payment on the thing?
Like the mortgage.
Yeah, everything like taxes, insurance.
Yeah, taxes, insurance, everything. Or I guess I think we'll have to get right now we just have the normal like house insurance, not renters, right?
Sure, sure.
So it's just like not that much. But the mortgage with like the real or the taxes, it's like 3,000 a month. And then
Yeah,
I
I mean,
think if
it
renting
sounds
it
like you
out
can.
500 or 600 a
Yeah,
night, it'll make double,
that's
triple that.
crazy.
And then but then you
Uh,
also
the-
have to have like a pool person and like some other things. So
Sure, sure. Some expenses to go with it. But I mean, it
yeah.
seems like if you're in Palm Springs, I mean, based on what you're saying here, it just sounds like it'd almost be dumb to do a long-term rental. Like, why would you just not Airbnb it? Is there a lot of competition? I
Yeah.
mean, maybe there's just a lot of demand though. What do you see?
There's definitely a lot of competition, but I think there's so many that do well. And me and my sister have talked to one other real estate agent who owned a house there, and she showed us her like profit and loss statement. And it's like exactly what we were thinking it would be. Like it was completely paying for the mortgage. making some on top of that. After expenses, I
Crazy.
think it's probably like 10 to 20,000 depending how much you rent it out. So you might be able to do better if you're investing in stocks and doing really well in that, whatever. But there's something nice about like then I can go to it and film there. It's like a lifestyle asset. Like you can still
Yeah,
use it for free
absolutely.
and make
And so, I
videos
mean,
about it.
you each probably so are you 50-50? I'm assuming, I don't want to pry here, but
Yeah.
I mean, it sounds like you're probably into this thing for around 300 grand. And
Mhm.
you've got essentially $1 million asset here.
Yeah. Yeah. We're 50-50 on it. And yeah, I think like there have been some houses in the neighborhood that have sold like a little over 1 million now. And so I'm like, that makes me feel better about how much we put into it. Cause at least it's like, if we've even thought about what if we just sold it because now the market is still hot, but I'm like, I know the taxes would be crazy, and I don't know, I still want it to go visit, right, have it on Airbnb and then have a place to go. And so we've thought about it though because we were like,
Yeah,
whoa,
but and then
maybe we
even the
could get,
fees, because let's just go,
yeah, like the
and
realtor
who knows, maybe this
fees.
is accurate, but let's go like 1.1, let's say, right? And then you paid
Hmm.
your fees. We'll take off 6.25%. I'm being conservative here.
Yeah.
You probably end up spending less than that, but you're gonna be paying like 65 to 70K in fees, like escrow, title, the agents, and you probably get that, for less. But let's go with that to be conservative. You bought it for 750. You had some fees to buy it, and you put about 150K into it. So let's just call it 150 even here. 1, 2, 3. That leaves you minus the 750 purchase price. Yeah, I mean, hey, you'd walk away with like 130K if you sold it for 1.1. You'd each get
Hmm.
your 65K, but then you'll pay short-term taxes on that, which, you're in
Right.
California, so, take a 40% off of that. So all of a sudden, now you're 65K each minus the 40% off for taxes. It's like 39K. Hey, I mean, that's nothing to that's not shabby, if you were to flip it. But honestly, I mean, 39K with $1 million property, the market barely has to move. The market moves 3%. You got that in net worth, or a little bit since
Hmm.
you're dividing it. But I would hold that thing. I think you just fixed it up. If you sold it, you would be giving somebody else, I feel like, a discount on all of the fact that all of this is now brand new. Like you've
Yeah.
created something here you could keep for 20 years now. Hold this thing is what I'd be thinking.
Yeah, we definitely like once we factored in the short-term taxes, we were like, this doesn't really make sense because it's not like, I mean, it's going to be paying for itself on Airbnb anyway. So like after we put all this money in, it will be really nice to not feel like we're spending money all the time on it. And we'll be
Yeah.
making money actually. How crazy. So I'm excited
Yeah.
for that.
How does that feel, by the way? Like how compared to what you thought? The maybe you could talk about
Oh
like the
yeah.
stress a little bit of what you're going through. How long did you think it was going to take? Like expectations versus reality, right?
Yeah, it's so different than what I expected. I mean, I always thought it'd be really fun to do something like this. Like, I love HGTV, watching that stuff, but I didn't realize it is more stressful. A couple of reasons being that it is 2 hours away. And so, anytime we're
Oh,
going to do work on it, we have to be like living through that. And then I'm also trying to still upload weekly and all of this. So, I've been like trying to make videos at the house, and they're like, hammering something and there's dust everywhere. So I'm like, hey, if I were to do this again, I'd probably want to do something just 20 minutes away from my house so I can go check on it and all of that, but not have to like live there and have to go back and forth. And I feel like I've been living out of a suitcase kind of. So
oh,
that's
yeah.
like, it's difficult. I feel like it's made me less productive in terms of making videos. And so
Mhm.
I'm like, it'll be worth it, but it has been more stressful. And then just picking everything. Well, okay, it's fun. I don't think it's very difficult to pick like what we want to do,
Yeah.
but finding the contractors and then being like, am I getting the best price here? It's not very transparent.
No.
I find it really confusing. Sometimes the contractors are like not like we haven't had any that are that flaky, but sometimes it's just like not like like they're not as clear and do things a little wrong. And yeah, it's just like a
what's so
problems all the
crazy
time.
is you want to spend money, right? It's like, I want to spend money. Okay, fine. I need a new electrical panel. I want to do this concrete. Okay, I want to spend money. It is surprisingly difficult to actually spend money because,
Yeah.
like you say, finding the right contractor, them actually following up and finishing the work, but then coming back and fixing mistakes or things they like, it's a disaster.
That's one thing that surprises me is some contractors have showed up, you know, taken a look around to give a quote, and then some of them just don't actually give you a quote. And it's like, why would you even waste your time like going there? And even I'll tell them on the phone like the size of the project. So they know this isn't like some huge remodel of a hotel or something. So I'm like, seems like a waste of time. I don't know. But
it's incredible. The contracting business is a disaster. I don't know if you know, but I was a licensed contractor, had a licensed contracting business, and I think it's the most toxic, lowest margin industry that exists. And there's a reason there's no national company, like there's no national company you can call and get contracting done. You know, there's no like Home Depot of contracting. Now Home Depot, they pretend to do that, but they just outsource to like some other contractor, add their 30% fee to it, and then you're stuck with the same problem. No diss on Home Depot. It's just a mess of a system. But yeah, so I think it's good though that you're going through it, because you're going to have a beautiful property when you're done. It's going to take longer, be more expensive, but you'll be done with it. Beautiful property. Don't sell it. Keep it. You know, if you're going to have gone through it, keep that thing. So I'm happy for that project. If you were to do it again, or if you were to get into real estate again, how would you do it differently?
Okay, so like moving forward, if doing something in the future, I wouldn't want like as big of a backyard. Just it's like so big that I don't feel like it really needs to be that big, or like something that's a little easier, less like mature plants in the yard if I don't really like them. Like if I were to buy something in LA, I don't know. I guess I don't like dealing with such an old house sometimes, because there are just more issues, like plumbing issues. And I'd rather find something that's like old enough that it's outdated and cosmetically kind of ugly, so you can change stuff, but you're not really having to do so much of like the sewer line and things that are just like really annoying when they're not working. So that I do differently. I don't love living so far from the renovation also. So yeah, I don't know if I'd want to do another Airbnb that I live really far away from, but I am glad I'm doing it, because then I'll have like a spot to go over in Palm Springs for fun.
I don't know the LA market that well, because I'm you know, an hour and a half ish above you. And one of my favorites, the favorite kind of property to get, is if you could get like a 2003, 2005 property that somebody just beat the crap out of. Like it's got the older kind of tan cabinets, that the oak cabinets that aren't in anymore. It's you know, somebody like the carpet's stinky, the house is stinky. Like that's so perfect, because you walk into those, it's like, I know the electrical panel, the roof, the sewer, all this stuff is, I mean, it's 18 years old. It's gonna be okay. You know?
I know, that seems honestly perfect. But in LA, that's going to be like $2 million or something crazy. That's kind of why
that's
we're
the downside.
Yeah.
Like the stuff that I know, I feel like is very common in LA is like the 1920s duplex or little bungalow. That's like 1,200 square feet. And it's like a 2-in-1 or a 3-in-1, right? But then you're back to doing everything again.
Yeah, because those are cool and I like the character they have, but I'm just like, some of them are like 100 years old. There's no way they're not going to have problems.
Now, on the other hand, sometimes with those, you could find like, and this is not like to be like, how do I even word this correctly? I'm not trying to target age here. I'm just making an example here. I have come across this many times where you'll find an older couple, you know, in their 80s or whatever. Over the last 20 years, they've living in these bungalows from like the 20s. They literally spend money on everything that is really expensive. So like dual pane windows, yep, sign me up. New sewer, sign me up. New heater, sign me up. Replacing my 1970s shag carpet, oh heck no, we're leaving that. You know, like
Yeah.
that is, if you could find that right there is the best kind of property you could buy, where they've updated all the expensive stuff, but they left you the paint and carpet and the new light fixtures and the bathroom vanities for you to do. So maybe
Yeah, I'll
find
have to
that.
keep my eye out for that. Yeah, I feel like it's hard in LA even to find like how people used to do that house hacking where they'd get a duplex and live in one and rent the other. I'm like, do those even exist anymore? I feel like everyone knows about it now, and it's really hard to find. So
You
I don't know, but
almost, the way to make those work is you almost have to hear about it off market. Like if somebody
yeah,
out there in LA has a duplex that they want to sell Shelby, hit her up, okay? We got to get Shelby
yeah.
into a duplex. But yeah, I mean, those are great, but multifamily, especially here in California, has always been extremely pricey because people don't even give you a discount for the fact that you have to do work to them anymore. Just because people are so excited about exactly what you said, the ability to house hack.
Mhm.
It's almost like you got to do what you did with the townhome up north, where I think Seattle, you said, right, where you're renting out rooms.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah, so my
that's
sister lives in
popular,
it,
but
but then yeah, so then
right.
she rents out the other two rooms. So it's like that is pretty much paying the interest and then she just pays the principal, which is nice. But then I know a lot of people are like not down for roommates, but
That's
if
the
you
other
are, it can
thing
work.
too. I mean, have you? I mean, this is a big movement, and I could see you doing a crazy like docu-series on this. You ever? When's the Leaving California coming?
I've thought about that, like documenting like why people are leaving or
Yeah.
leaving myself for a bit and being like, is it worth it? Because yeah, I guess seeing people's videos about why they leave does make me think even like, wait,
Why am I
10%
here?
taxes in California is crazy. But
Yeah.
yeah, I think it would actually be cool because I've had a few friends that left over this last year. I feel like having everything shut down really pushed people to be like, why am I here? All the fun stuff that's normally here, I can't even do. Like, I'm paying all this money for like to sit in my house.
Yeah. 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 So, I mean, would you be sad about leaving like the weather in LA, or do you not care so much about that? Is it more like, hey, let's go where the other folks are and save money on taxes, or what would kind of be your mindset? Putting you on the spot a little bit about
Yeah,
what your pros and cons would be.
I would be so sad to leave the weather. I love the weather. Like when I was younger, I always wanted to live in California. So I don't really want to leave. I feel like if I did move out of LA, it would be to like San Diego or something. Like just like a
Yeah.
different,
Yeah.
like still a nice area. I really love the weather. But I guess I see all these people moving to Texas and I'm like, I've never been to Texas. Am I missing out on something here? But I don't think so.
Right.
I think there's a reason we pay so much in California. It's nice. Like you can go to the beach. The weather's always nice. I don't know. I mean, I still like it.
Yeah. Yeah. I think, what is it? The Mediterranean climate is only in like 6 or 7% of the world, and the only place that the United States has it is SoCal. So Santa Barbara to San Diego,
Yeah.
basically.
Yeah. And it's
So
awesome.
okay, so that'll be a. I mean, you should. I mean, at the very least, you got to make a video on it. Just do like leaving California ... question mark. That'll
Yeah.
thinking
Interview
it'll
some
do well for you.
people. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. So, okay, so really, I mean, I'm excited about your Airbnb plans because I think Airbnb is booming, and you've got a really beautiful property, and it's done now. You don't have to worry about it. Tell me though, you got into Tesla too. You've got a Tesla. You made some really
Hmm.
cool videos in your Tesla, on your Tesla. You've done it all.
Oh
What's
no, it
what's
just
your
cut
take
out.
on? Oh, there we go. Okay,
Oh,
sorry about that.
now
You
we're
still
back.
you back? Okay. You've made some awesome videos about Tesla, in your Tesla, on your Tesla, everything. What's your take on the company? Like, is Tesla going to take over the world? Do these other companies have a chance anymore?
I still think Tesla is the number one electric vehicle company, and I just find it so hard for any of the other ones to touch them because of especially the supercharger network. It's just they've got that nailed. Like I just took my car to Yosemite. I've taken it all over California. Anywhere you'd want to go, you can take it on a road trip, really no problem. Sure, you have to stop a couple times, but I really don't mind it because there's always like food and stuff there. So Yeah, I think that's one of the things where I'm like, I feel like it's really hard for any company. They try, but their fast charging is like not as fast, or maybe they're making a car with more miles, but it's like if you look at the Cybertruck that they're wanting to make, there didn't they say it would be like 600-mile range or something like that?
I think
Like
so. I
a
mean, I
lot.
think it's at least 500 for like the fanciest version of it, like the 70K version of it. Yeah, it's crazy. Like I don't
Yeah,
need that much.
I know. I'm like, I'm good. Honestly, even 240 is pretty good. Like 400 would be really nice, but yeah, I feel like it would be tough for another company to come in. I did buy some stock in Neo though, because I did think like there's a lot of people in China, and I haven't tried the car obviously, but it does look pretty cool.
That's what
And
we
if it's
need.
doing well there,
Shelby
yeah,
Church goes to China.
I would be down to try that car there. That'd be really cool.
I bet after, I mean, I bet you could get that set up pretty easily, especially the way you do your videos. I'm sure they'd love to have you. So,
Yeah.
would you buy a Cybertruck?
Maybe I'm like, I don't really need a truck is the thing. And like having a truck in LA would be, but I'm like, I definitely want to make videos with that when it's out. I don't know. I did a video actually where I rented my car out on Turo. So I thought like if I bought a Cybertruck, the videos would do well, pay for some of it that way. And Tesla's rent for a premium on Turo, I could just do that, but I don't really want to deal with actually doing that, like the hassle of it. But yeah, I don't know. I love my Model 3. I don't really need a Cybertruck, but if I was a truck person, maybe.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Is the Turo is that a hassle because you're constantly trying to like coordinate with the people, or what's the problem there?
You have to get the car washed in between. That's probably the biggest hassle. But
Yeah.
you could honestly get a fleet of Teslas and like hire someone to do that and charge them. You would need a house where you can charge multiple though if you're doing that kind of
Mhm.
thing. But I
Yeah.
rented mine for $90 a day, and when you think about it's like a $40,000 car, that's pretty good compared to a how like that's almost $100 a day. You if you had a lot of 5-star reviews, a lot of them could do that compared to a house that's I guess if you had 5 Teslas, you'd be making the same as like the Airbnb, but it's just more work
Yeah.
coordinating.
I mean, even if you rented it out 50% of the time, that's $1,350 a month. I mean,
Hmm.
uh,
Yeah, you more than pay
what's
for the car if you like financed it.
yeah, exactly. Because I was thinking like the payment on the Model 3's got to be what, like $500 to $700 or something, maybe even less.
Yeah,
So that's interesting, huh?
yeah, it's just
Okay,
like a hassle, but it's an idea. I
we're
was always
dealing
like,
with
you could have your own little enterprise rent a car thing.
it. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, someone's probably
So,
out there doing it.
well, how are you allocating your money right now? Because you're getting paid on YouTube.
Mhm.
I think you're renting in LA. I don't think you spend a lot of money. I mean, you're not like super flashy, so I imagine you get to keep a lot of money. And stop me if I'm getting too personal. I
Oh
want to know
no,
where
I
you're
put this all on
investing.
my channel basically. Yeah, so probably half of it's in real estate with the Airbnb and half
Nice.
in stocks. So with real estate, it's the townhouse in Seattle, the down payment. That was like actually about the same price as yeah, it was around like 700 something, but we bought it 2 years ago. So now we just had it appraised for 830, I think.
Oh wow,
Um,
nice.
but I split that with my sister. So like both of them is probably I don't know exactly how much, but it's like about half in that, and then half of it's invested in a mutual fund with a financial advisor, and then a small amount I like to just play with on Robinhood and do
Okay,
whatever I want
so
with. Yeah.
half real estate, half stocks, but of that stocks, well, half is with a mutual fund. So this is like some advisor or somebody you know, a connection, or how does that work?
Yeah, it was a friend that my sister and I knew, his dad who has like a really successful like financial advising business in Seattle, like his friend, so a recommendation that we knew. And when I started investing in that, I was like 21 and just didn't know anything about it and knew I wasn't gonna do it myself. Like I just didn't know any, I was like too intimidated by it. But now I feel like I could probably, like, I think I know enough where I'm like, I'd probably, you know, those studies where they say you can just put it in the S&P 500 and it like probably could outperform most financial advisors
Sure.
after the
Yeah,
fees. So,
that's
but
true
back
too.
then I was like, I wasn't going to do that. So I don't regret it. But now moving forward, I'm like, I could kind of just open my own thing, own account.
How much would you say, like maybe percentage wise, are you saving versus investing?
Mm, I probably save, I haven't really like actually gone through, but I probably save like 70%. But after taxes, I
Whoa,
don't know.
that's a lot.
Mm,
Why?
It's hard to say.
Yeah.
Or
I mean, we.
when I say save, I mean investing it
Okay.
in
Oh, okay. Okay. Okay.
something.
So,
Yeah,
so,
saving, I mean not spending it on like rent and food and stuff.
okay. Okay. How much are you putting in a savings account?
Um, I don't even really like have a savings account. I have like a business checking account that I use, and I've kept more money than I probably need to, but just because of like I don't know what expenses with the house are going to come up, so I want to have it on
Yeah.
hand. So I'll have it in like real estate and stocks and that checking account. But I probably should move it to a savings account and just like switch them in between. I
Yeah, you've
know
got
I've
some big
watched
bills
them.
coming up right now anyway, so it makes
Yeah,
sense, maybe
taxes
get
and all
through your
that.
real estate project. Do you like to
Yeah.
auto invest in stocks, or do you when you pick on Robinhood, do you like, hey, I got to get some Neo and then swipe up on Neo? How do you like to do that?
So before the house renovation, I was doing like an like automatic deposit amount to that financial advisor account every month.
Smart. Okay.
Um, but then once we started renovating the house, kind of just paused that. So I was like, how much are we going to need to put into this, you know?
Yeah.
But with Robinhood, I don't do any kind of auto stuff. I just kind of look at it every day and I'm like, what's down? Like, what seems like a good deal? It's kind of, it's just for fun, really. So,
Sure. Oh, good for you.
yeah,
Do you ever freak out when you see like that red on your portfolio? Does that ever make you nervous?
not at all because it's just not that much. And I'm like, I'll just hold it. I'll just keep, like, it really doesn't stress me out. If it did, then I
Good.
would probably just never look at it and put it with a financial advisor. But maybe it's also because in the past year it's done really well. But it just like, I feel like I've learned enough about it that I know it's gonna go down sometimes. It's gonna go back up too. Like I'm just, it doesn't stress me out.
That's so
If
good.
anything,
I
I'm
feel like
excited when it's down. I'm like, I'm gonna buy. Like,
I mean, that is so great. I mean, I just think like this pandemic, in some sense, there have been so many silver linings, and one of them is just like, hey, buy the dip. Like when it's red, that's time to
mhm.
buy. So that's so good. I feel like that helps so much in just long term psychology. So okay, so you got your Tesla. Uh, what about you? I want to know about the vlog. Would you go? Would you ever see yourself family vlogging and just like becoming a travel vlogger?
I don't think I would do family vlogging just because
Okay.
I don't know. I feel like then it's putting so much on the internet. Even I feel like right now I'm vlogging because I'm spending a lot of time at the house or not as much time as when I'm living my normal life, like seeing my friends as much. Because I'm like, I just don't like putting people in a vlog that are like maybe not that comfortable with it. So I feel like I probably
Yeah.
wouldn't do that. That's why I love having my main channel. I don't have like any pressure to actually vlog. I'll stop if I want and like I feel like that's healthy. It's like sometimes those family vlogging channels, it's like, that's like a scary thing if you feel like you need to make your life interesting. It just seems stressful. And like,
Ugh.
what if you're going through a hard time and then you have to like be on and like filming? Like, that's just like, it's freeing to not have to worry about that.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I feel like
I
personally I
think
wouldn't, but like people do and they do well with it.
oh my gosh, yeah, it seems like there's a lot of competition in that space too, and hard to stand out because it's almost like you just always have to do crazy stuff to stand out in that space.
Mhm.
Like, and when I think of crazy, I think like, you seen Danny Duncan?
I haven't really, but I've heard the name.
Okay, okay, okay.
I'm gonna need to look it
He's not
up.
a family vlogger, but
Oh,
uh,
okay.
anytime like he posts once or twice a week. Anytime he posts a video, he has like 5 million subscribers or whatever. Anytime he posts a video, it's just like crazy. Like the stuff to actually get on for these vlogs to get out there, it's so intense. And Yeah, I couldn't imagine just having to basically put your family through that. But I do think
Yeah.
there's a place, at least at some levels, for family in videos. But no, I think you've got the right perspective on that. What
My
about?
dad likes to be in vlogs, and I'm like, sure, like that's just kind of for fun because he's helping with the renovation, but it's nothing like too serious.
You should interview your dad, like confronting my dad about our renovation.
Yeah, that'd be
Like,
funny. People love
Dad,
him
why?
too. He's like on Instagram now.
Yeah, like beat him up. Like, Dad, why didn't we paint the cabinets? You know.
Yeah, we'll
Um,
do that next time
what?
we're there.
Perfect. What about cryptos? And where do you stand on those?
So I feel like I've more recently like gotten into that. For so long I was like, seems like really weird world. I don't know about this. But then around this time last year, me and my friends were playing some game that like one of the cards is like who's most likely to own Bitcoin, and they like voted me, and I was like, you know what, I should get some Bitcoin. I've been seeing that a lot lately, so I just on Robinhood put $100 in, and then like once you're invested even a small amount like $100, you start just like researching it. At least I do. I'm like, so what's going on with this?
Yeah.
That's why sometimes I'll buy a stock, only like $20 of it, just to like keep tabs on it or something
Yeah.
like that. I did that with Airbnb because I'm like, I just want to remember it and then buy more when it's like dipping. So
Exactly.
yeah, I started looking more into Bitcoin in general and everything about it. And I was like, I don't know, I feel like there's something here, especially with Tesla holding Bitcoin. And now I'm like, I feel like that makes other companies feel better maybe about doing that, like Amazon. And if they did, I feel like the price of it would keep going up. So I don't know. I mean, I feel like holding not that much money in it because it still is kind of risky, but it's almost more risky to not because it could go crazy.
Yeah. Yeah, I think that's brilliant what you said. And some people they they can be negative about this, but I think what you said with I'll put a little bit in and then it's going to motivate me to learn more about it. I actually think that's a great idea because it's like the amount of energy it already takes to buy a stock, I feel like is pretty high. Like, oh, okay, I gotta put my money into something. The amount of energy it takes to go, okay, I'm gonna sit here for a couple hours now and research something, or maybe even more hours. That's like 10x the energy to actually just buy something, right? So you buy
Yeah.
something, you get in. As you know, not like you're going all in, right? But like you said, now it's like, wait, I have exposure to this. Maybe now instead of scrolling past this article, I'm going to read about this, and that'll lead me to read about this, this, and this. I think it's a brilliant idea.
For sure. And especially with like the investing I do just on, well, I say Robinhood, but really I've been moving off of that. I just, you know how it's like if you have money in it, you don't want to sell it because then you're going to pay taxes on it. So like I
Yes.
feel kind of stuck in it a little bit, but I actually have like
Yes.
3 different brokerages. I just say Robinhood because people like know it. So I feel like I'm always just looking at companies and like things in general that I see the world moving in. Like the first stock I ever bought on there was Tesla right after I got the car because I was like, this car is amazing. I need to invest. Like it's gonna go up. And this was back when people were like, Tesla's not even gonna be around in a couple of years. And yeah, I just was like, no way. I remember even being nervous to buy the car because people were saying that, but I was like, that's just like what they say in the news is always so dramatic and like not, I feel like that accurate.
The
So
news is looking for negativity, that's for sure.
yeah, I almost want to do the opposite or opposite of the news a little bit, or like it. I don't know. Like if they say to buy a stock, I'm like not trusting of it at all. I'm more so like
Skeptical.
I don't know. Yeah,
Yeah. You know, I think that is very, very smart because you get a lot of, oh, this stock is trending. And then people buy a stock because it's in the news that it's trending. Oh, look, it's going so sky high. And that could lead to a lot of hurt really fast often. So
yeah.
I like that. Like it's contrarian what you're doing, right? Investing where the people aren't looking.
Yeah, I almost feel like when it's in the news, it's too late. Like once it's in the news, everyone knows about it, and you kind of miss the time where it would have been like the most beneficial to invest a lot of the time.
Yeah,
Like
good
once
point.
people are like talking about Tesla being that high, it was like, well, now it's already. But I'm sure over time, I just got the software update where I think it's supposed to be like fully self-driving if you're paying attention. And I'm like, what other car company is like that advanced with it? Yeah.
Oh, that's exciting. Well, I'm very happy for you. That's so fun. And you really, it's like what you say is so right on too. With you own it, you know it. Like you see the update come through, and you're like, Ford ain't doing that.
Yeah, it's so true. So love Tesla.
There's a question here. Somebody says, what got you interested in stocks in the first place? Like, was it the pandemic? Was it, I got to do something with my money? And I want to extend that, even say, why real estate?
I guess what got me interested in stocks to begin with, like 5 years ago, was just hearing like my dad and people being like, you should invest if you have this money. But then what got me into me being more interested in it and looking at it like every day was getting a Tesla, because that was the first individual stock that I bought. And once I saw that like double, I was like, whoa, this is crazy. Because I bought it at 200 and then I sold it at 700, but then I bought more later. And yeah, so yeah, Tesla was the first one where I was like, I feel like you can kind of see trends and kind of buy individual companies based off of these trends. And it's just sort of like a fun little hobby in a way. Like I don't put so much money in that I'd be really stressed out if I lose it. And then real estate, I just always was like not loving the idea of paying rent, I guess. I mean, for even when I was like early 20s, I was like, I know I don't really feel like I can commit to any one area. Yeah. Especially in LA, it's so expensive to buy something that you would want to live in. That's why I was down to buy a place in Seattle. So my sister basically manages it, finds the roommates, but then I have like a 50% stake in it. So it's kind of nice because she's doing like more the hands-on work with that.
And how's that been?
But yeah.
What? How's that been? Any problems?
Not really. Like that. I mean, that place was pretty turnkey. It's like maybe 10 years old, so there's been no renovations or anything. I think one pipe burst and they just called a plumber and had it fixed the same day for a few $100s. That's like the only thing.
Okay.
Yeah.
And do you have any other siblings?
I do. I have another sister and a brother.
Oh, whoa.
Yeah.
But they're not YouTubers because you two are.
Right. Yeah.
Okay. How do they feel about you both?
My other sister, she like is so not in the YouTube world, and my brother, he works at Enterprise, but is pretty like high up in that. So he's very like Gen X, I guess. Like doesn't have social media, like very different. So I think he thinks it's cool, the whole YouTube thing, but it's not like he watches any YouTuber like fully gets that. But yeah, it's kind of funny. But my sister obviously gets it.
What kind of channels out there do you like looking at? Like, do you watch a lot of YouTube? I find a lot of YouTubers watch a lot of YouTube, but then there are some who don't. So it kind of seems like there's what camp might you be in?
Yeah, I feel like I watch a lot of YouTube because now my attention span for like a Netflix show is not as good when I can just like scrub through a YouTube video. So I mean, lately I like watching any kind of house renovation stuff because it's just relatable to me. And then I like watching the different finance channels just because I feel like you can put them on and almost listen to it like a podcast. Like you don't really have to be watching. So I'll just be getting ready and like listening to it. So I like those channels because I feel like they're entertaining in a way, but they're still like you learn something. My AirPods just died, so I'm gonna take them out.
Oh, of course.
There we go.
Take your time.
Cool.
There, can you still hear me? Okay.
I don't know. I'll just watch whatever the algorithm serves me. That's like documentary style.
Do you have maybe wired headphones or something?
Let's see. I don't think I do. Does it sound like really? Does it echo?
It's pretty bad.
Maybe if I go in a different room, it won't echo as much.
Do you want to try your phone?
Oh yeah, I'll just do that.
Yeah, click on your phone. The same link I texted you, and let's see how that goes.
Okay.
right, almost got it.
There we go. Oh, there we go.
Great.
Oh, wait, hold
And
on.
I'm
Let
just
me
gonna
move the
leave
other one.
on this one then.
Yes, perfect.
Cool.
There we go. So I think I can hear you now.
Oh, weird. I actually don't hear it.
Oh, I hear you. Let's see. Oh no. Okay.
Oh, okay.
So
I can't hear you.
got-
I wonder why.
Oh, that is weird.
Okay,
Oh,
click
is it connected to headphones? Bluetooth. I'm spamming a bunch of ideas. But anyway, we'll get to the bottom of this. So, in the meantime,
Weird.
what other?
Sorry, everyone, but my
Oh, no
audio
worries.
or my phone isn't playing sound.
Okay, hold on a
Could it
second.
be?
I got an
I'm pretty
idea.
sure these died.
Oops. Okay, we'll try something different here. One sec. Oops. No, not that. Here we go.
Mic, iPhone, microphone. Okay.
Okay, we'll give it 1 second here.
Okay, smart, creative way.
Hey, yeah. So it's going to be creative. I think probably we'll just ask a few more questions. People are just going to be able to hear you, and not see you here. Although I wonder. Hold on. You know what? Maybe. Hold on. This would be really creative if I could pull this off. Well, let's try this really quick. Okay, I'm going to put you in an HDMI here. Let's see if this works. Oh, this actually might work. There we go. Okay, and hold on, let me get the audio there. Give that a test.
Okay, testing.
That's a. I don't know if I can hear you through this. Try again.
Since making a deal on Shark Tank a year and a half ago, business has been absolutely fantastic. I'm here today in New York City because I've just signed a major deal with Destination Maternity, the largest maternity.
I don't know. Can it? Let's see. Were we able to hear her there through that? Trying to get you through the HDMI. We've got you plugged in. I've got your video. Let's see here. No, I probably messed it up. No worries. Let's just do this and say, there we go. We'll just we'll share some final thoughts here then. How about that? We'll keep it simple. Yeah, definitely. Yeah. Okay. So some final thoughts then. I'll just have you kind of hear by the audio so we can hear you. So some final thoughts. What's next for you on YouTube and finance? Is your goal, hey, like now you've got the investing bug, I want more. What's next for you?
And I just want to learn more about it. Like I've been reading like actual books
Yeah.
and just watching a lot of YouTube videos. But then also once the house renovation is done, I want to get more into just documentary style videos on my channel about a lot of different topics and just working on getting better at videography. I mean, that's always been kind of my favorite thing, but then doing the investing stuff on the side. I'm hesitant to get too into it because I don't know. I'm not an expert. I don't want anyone to like take my advice that isn't advice at all. So
Yeah, I mean, do you think that that maybe concern for liability does that prevent you from wanting to maybe put yourself out there more on hey, like here's me, I'm trying to go through this, getting started in finance, and just diving into that?
yeah, because I'm nervous that someone would maybe do the same thing, or I mean, I feel pretty good about what I decide to do for myself with my money, but I know sometimes people will watch a video and they'll see somebody invest in a stock, but they may have watched it a week later and now the stock price is different and they're not going to get the same return, you know? Or I mean, nobody really knows everything. Like we could all copy Warren Buffett, but if it like even he has some losing stocks, so
Yeah,
I don't know.
that's
Kind of a liability that does make you nervous.
it's a good point. You know, if you don't have it yet, consider getting media insurance, especially in the YouTube space. It can be crazy out here. Then I want to end by asking, if you're gonna go documentaries, could you ever see yourself going? You put out like 1 or 2 bangers a year, and it's just all in on something really big like that. I want to hear your thoughts on that.
I could see that, but I would only do that if I had gotten to a point where they were so good and so high production value that they were maybe like living on a streaming platform or something. So I feel like with YouTube, it's kind of better to break it up. You have more of a chance of succeeding than, you know, how we were talking about when you work really hard on one video and it doesn't do well. Well, if you're uploading 50 videos a year, not too bad. But then if you, like, the stakes are so much higher if you're only uploading once or twice. So I think if I was doing that kind of thing, it had better be like for Netflix, you know, that would be the goal there.
Totally. Oh, that's that's a good point. Yeah, I mean the stress of that. Oh my gosh, like what if like one of your 2 or both of the 2, it was like, oh no, it didn't hit. How am I going to pay the bills, right? Do you ever get stressed about that? Like, what if YouTube goes away? That kind of stress. Does that ever cross your mind?
Kind of like it used to, but I feel like I'm pretty good at adapting to what's going on because I've been on YouTube for 10 plus years. I would be more stressed about it if I had just gone viral and I was like really new to this. I'd be like, is it going to last? But I think because I have always been more into like the editing and making that cool, I'm like, I feel like I can figure out a way to make videos I'm interested in and other people want to watch regardless. But if I was like just a personality, right, I would be a little more nervous because, you know, people could get bored of you. But I guess my videos aren't really like as much based around my personality. Like I'm in them, but it's usually about exploring some kind of topic. So I don't really get too nervous about that.
Nice. Okay, so always thinking providing value is always going to be part of the future there. I mean, this is, I really enjoyed talking, and we'll have to do a part 2 sometime. Anything you want to leave off and share with the audience, how people can follow you and, you know, anything else you want to say?
Sure. If you're into house renovation stuff, that's mostly on my vlog channel. But if you're into just kind of like some personal finance videos, some random videos that are edited cool, those are on my main channel. Or Instagram is kind of where I post like a lot of house stuff that we're doing more up to date. But yeah, uploading on YouTube all the time, so you can find me there.
Nice. Awesome. Okay, so Shelby Church, YouTube, Instagram, thank you so much for coming on. It was a blast talking to you. A total blast. Stand by for 1 second. I'm going to say goodbye here. Thank you, everyone, so much for watching. Sorry about the last 5 minutes here, but hey, you know what? We had a great run. It's been a blast. If you found this helpful, consider sharing, subscribing, and we will see you